Hi, I'm Tony Baez-Milan. I'm the Executive Director of Admissions here at DEC. Welcome to our very first virtual open house. We are very glad to have you here with us today. Please be assured that in this age of the coronavirus, we are taking every precaution and every measure to keep our DEC community safe. For more information, please visit dec.edu/coronavirus. Now, at this event, you will learn about admissions, financial aid, career services, student life, and all about social media. For those of you who might be interested in a great special makeup effects demo, we will have Mr. Jordan Patton from 2 seasons of Face Off and also one of our very own DEC instructors to do a demonstration for you. So a great special makeup effects demo. Please stick around. Now, what makes DEC anything but ordinary? We are very, very personal. Everybody receives a lot of one-on-one attention. We want to make sure that our students are cared for. We care about these people, and we care about everybody who walks in through the door. The school's been here since 1904. I haven't been here that long myself, but the school's been here since 1904. Our teachers, they have a lot of experience. They continue with that experience, and they pass it on to our students. So there's a lot to be learned here. Very personal attention too. Every time that you go into classrooms, you're always going to see a lot of one-on-one attention too. So there's a lot to be seen, a lot to be learned, a lot of things that we like to do because and for our students. We have an incredible career services department. They do a lot for our students, and while we cannot and do not guarantee employment, there's a lot to be done there in terms of helping our students going into their chosen fields of study as professionals. So the Career Services Department does a great job with that. And it's also an ongoing service, meaning that a student graduates from the school at any time after that, they need help with finding a job or help with a resume, anything like that. The Career Services Department can help them with that. A big deal here at DEC, and some people know about it, some people don't know about it, but I'm going to tell you too, also is that we are an ACCSC School of Excellence. That is our accreditor. It's a big deal. Again, ACCSC School of Excellence. Look it up because it's a big deal, and we're very proud of that here at DEC. DEC's programs include the creative programs, such as Tom Savini's Special Makeup Effects Program, George A. Romero's Filmmaking Program 2, Beauty and Wellness Programs, Cosmetology Program, Cosmetology Teacher / Salon Manager Program, the Aesthetics Program, that's Skincare, Esthetician and Nail Technologist Program, Massage Therapy Program as well. Skilled trades, we have that too, Heavy Equipment and CDL with Safety and Natural Gas. We also have CDL, Commercial Driver's License, and Heavy Equipment and CDL with Safety. Allied Health, we have Medical Assistant Program, and we have a Medical Billing and Coding Program as well. The admissions process at DEC is straight up, but you do have to get through it. So you need to fill out an application form, which you can do online. You also need to pay a $50 application fee. You can do that online or in person or in the mail or even by phone. You also need to have a high school diploma or GED or equivalent. And you also need to, for some programs, have a physical and drug test. There are other requirements for the admissions process and the enrollment process, but nothing too complicated. Again, you just have to get through it, so you can do this. And please visit dec.edu for a lot of details about the admissions and enrollment process.
Hello everyone, my name is Amanda Phillips. I'm the Executive Director of Operations here at Douglas Education Center, and I manage the Financial Aid Office. So today I'm going to tell you a little bit about financial aid eligibility. 3 things that need to happen for you to become eligible. Your school has to be eligible. Good news, Douglas Education Center is eligible. Your program has to be eligible. Also good news, most of our programs do qualify for federal student aid. And lastly, you have to be eligible. The next bit of information we're going to look at is different types of aid available at Douglas Education Center. As you can see, there are a number of different things that you could qualify for depending on your eligibility. We qualify for federal student aid, state aid, agency funding, institutional and outside scholarships, and veterans educational funding. Now I'd like to introduce you to DEC's institutional scholarships. We offer 5 different scholarships for a multitude of programs here at Douglas Education Center. Last year, DEC students were awarded over $138,000 in institutional scholarship funding. Each scholarship is worth 25% of the tuition each semester of the program. You can find scholarship applications online at dec.edu/scholarships. And last, I'd like to give you information on how we can determine if you qualify for federal student aid. What you need to do is apply for your FAFSA, free application for federal student aid, online. This is the same application used across the country for any school that you may be attending. We'll provide you information later on regarding the link as well as our federal school code. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Dana Melvin, and I'm the Director of Career Services here at Douglas Education Center. I'm here today to tell you a little bit about the Career Services Office here at the school and let you know about all the different opportunities and resources that we have available for our students and our graduates. Each of our students will have the opportunity to meet with a Career Services advisor and have resume reviews, portfolio critiques, interviewing technique opportunities, as well as mock interviews with real live employers. We also have one-on-one career counseling sessions where you can meet and learn about the different types of job opportunities your industry has to offer. We also have the opportunity for our students to work in volunteer opportunities here in the local community using their skills that they've learned in the school. Another professional service that the Career Services Office has to offer is our Portfolio and Career Development Center. There we have a professional photographer available for each of our students to come and get prints of their work, both high quality prints as well as digital images. The students can use the prints in their hard copy portfolios, and the digital images can be used on social media. Another benefit of the Portfolio and Career Development Center is the opportunity for students to develop branding and marketing skills. This will help in portfolio development as well as interviewing for different opportunities. The ability to develop salesmanship skills for freelance and working artists will also benefit students in their career pursuits. It was really great to have an opportunity to talk with all of you today. If you have any further questions about the Career Services Office and the resources that we have to offer, please feel free to email us at careerservices@dec.edu. Thanks and have a great day.
Hello, everyone. I just want to echo my colleagues and say once again, thank you so much for joining us for our first ever virtual open house. My name is Janelle Imbrescia, and I am Director of Student Life here at Douglas Education Center. Now, because of the coronavirus, there have been a lot of changes here at Douglas, but that doesn't mean that we can't have some fun still to go along with that. Now, as things continue on, we are evaluating each of these events as they come about, but just some things that you know that you can look forward to here at Douglas Education Center. We have everything from holiday theme parties to movie nights to game nights, and it just really creates a great sense of community and gives our students the opportunity to mingle with each other outside of the classroom and see other students who they might not get to see on a daily basis. So hopefully we get to have some of these activities here soon, and we really look forward to you coming to Douglas Education Center and experiencing these for yourself. So not only is part of my job creating the great student events, but I also am coordinator of social media here at Douglas Education Center. So now that you're joining us possibly on Facebook Live, that already means that you know where our Facebook page is, and that's great. So now I think it's time for me to remind you, go ahead and hit that like button. Because after this event is over, that doesn't mean that your connection with us has to stop here. You can connect with us not only on Facebook, but we have Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and our newest medium, TikTok. We're still working out everything with that and learning, but there are so many great ways to connect with us. And like I said, it doesn't have to stop here during the virtual open house. You can connect with us 24/7 on any of these social media platforms, and I would be so happy to see you guys there. We also have our very own DEC hashtag DEC Life. Make sure you go ahead and use that anytime you're posting about us, and I'll be sure to go ahead and find you there. And we look forward to connecting with you on all of these mediums.
Thank you for being with us here at DEC today in our very first virtual open house. Remember to stick around if you're interested in an incredible special makeup effects demo from Mr. Jordan Patton, 2 seasons on Face Off, and also he is one of our very own DEC instructors. If you might be interested in checking other things out because you may be interested in CDL or the medical programs or cosmetology, anything at all, please veer off into all the information at dec.edu/virtual open house. Cosmetology, CDL, medical programs, filmmaking, anything. Again, dec.edu/virtual open house. Stick around for Mr. Jordan Patton in a very special makeup demonstration. Thanks again for choosing DEC.
Hey, thank you for attending our virtual open house here at Douglas Education Center. You're about to see Jordan Patton create an amazing transformation on one of our students by applying prosthetic makeup. Now, during this demo, please feel free to ask questions in the comments section. Enjoy.
Hey, how's it going? My name is Jordan Patton. I'm an instructor here at the Tom Savini Special Makeup Effects Program at the Douglas Education Center, and today we're going to be doing a prosthetic makeup on our model Taylor here. So I'm going to show you guys here to start off with some of the process whenever it comes to making a full face prosthetic makeup. So first off, you're going to need to get a life cast of your model. So you're going to have to do that with the alginate and plaster bandages just to capture the detail of your said model. After that, you cast it up in a plaster, and then from there you go and you actually sculpt your prosthetic onto the face cast of your model. Once you have your sculpture done, you start setting that up for molding, and then you create a negative mold of your makeup here, and this is actually how you get your foam latex prosthetic out of that. So once you've got this, you then mix up your foam latex, put that in your mold here, and then you'll actually take your life cast and you'll sink that down into the mold. Then you're going to bake that in an oven for about 2 or 3 hours at whatever temperature you're desiring. And then after that time is up, you'll pop that out, and then you have your nice little foam latex piece here. It's nice and stretchy so that it can move with your model's face. So after you've got that, you can either start applying that onto your model, or you can do a little bit of pre-painting like I did just to save a little bit of time whenever it comes to your actual application. So right here, we have our pre-painted prosthetic that we're going to be applying. So we'll be able to just start applying that on, and then I'll be able to seam that down and then continue to match the colors of Taylor to the rest of the prosthetic here just to save on time in the end. And you can go and start to apply. So what we're going to do to apply this today is we're going to take a prosthetic grade adhesive here called Prozaid. We're going to pour that into a dram cup. And we're going to take this adhesive and we're going to paint it on Taylor's face as well as on the inside of the prosthetic here, and then we're going to go through and slowly apply that down and make sure it's tacked down all around his face so that when he moves his face, the prosthetic will move its as well. So I'm just going to test fit this first and see how it goes on. See where there might be like nice tight fitting areas and where it might be a little bit looser. Cool. So that should work out nicely. All right, so whenever I start applying the adhesive, I'm going to start in the center of the face, in the nose here. So I'm going to go ahead and paint that into the prosthetic. Then once I've got some adhesive in there, I'm going to go through here now and start to paint it onto the model's face. So actually, before I start putting this down onto Taylor's face here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this glue stick. I'm going to use this glue stick in his eyebrows here so that none of the prosthetic adhesive actually adheres to his hair, and it won't pull those out whenever we go to take the makeup off of him. All right, so now that we've got that on there, you let both sides dry because it's a contact adhesive. So now I'm going to go through here, kind of flip the prosthetic inside out. That way it's a little bit easier to match up with his nose here. Get the tip of his nose in here. Start to slowly set that down. And you start in the center like that so that you can make sure that your prosthetic's not crooked. You've got it on nice and straight. You can pick it up and relay it down if it's a little bit crooked to start off with. But once you've got it nice and straight, you can continue to move on to the rest of the face. So now that it's tacked down to his nose, I'm going to go through here and start to apply the adhesive to the rest of it. So as I'm laying this prosthetic down, the last little areas that I'm going to leave to be glued down are all of the seams. So the complete edge around the prosthetic, as well as all of the edges around the openings in the eyes, the nostrils, and in the mouth area. So I'm going to leave all those unglued and glue those in the end after the majority of the prosthetic is actually glued to the model's face. Just going to make sure to get some nice adhesive right here above the brow. That way we can get some good movement and the prosthetic's on. All right, so now that I've got majority of the forehead, I'm going to go through here and I'm going to carefully start to lay that up on there. So typically whenever you're applying these prosthetics, they're generally made for the model. This one was actually sculpted on a different Taylor. It's funny that it's still the same name, but this one actually wasn't sculpted to Taylor's face here. So we're gonna have to make a few slight adjustments as we're applying it just to make sure that everything fits right. So I'm just continuing to work around the face, once again from the center out to the edges, and just continuing to apply the adhesive on both the model and the prosthetic. Go now, try to adjust that to his face like I was talking about earlier, just to make sure that it's not obstructing his vision at all. So now I'm going to switch over to the other side here. You want to hold that pros aid for me? Thank you. And I'm going to continue to lay down this side as well. All right, I'll take that. I'm just going to go through, adjust this side, and then start to lightly tack it down. Does that feel comfortable on your face, where it sits?
Yep.
All right, so now that we have the bulk of the prosthetic glued down, I'm going to go back through and glue all of those edges down and make sure that they lay down flat to his skin. Hold on to that again, sorry. Just going through now and tapping down all those edges that I laid the adhesive into. Just making sure that they're adhered to his face nicely. All right, so once I've got all of my outside edges glued down, I'm going to go in now and make sure that it's glued down around his eye here, just so it's not lifted up off of him. So I'm actually going to switch over to a little bit of a smaller brush here. You want to be real careful anytime you're working around a model's eyes, just so you don't poke them or drip any adhesive in their eyes or anything. Make sure you talk to your model the whole time. You can have them look up, look down, close their eyes, keep them open if you want. All right, so I'm going to have you look up first. I'm going to go here and get underneath your eye. All right, go ahead and close your eyes. Now that we've got the adhesive on there, did the bottom first, so it's starting to dry, so I'm going to go through, start to tack that down with my fingers. Mind if I use a hairdryer on you? If it's taking a little bit longer for your adhesive to dry, you can take a hairdryer. Just make sure that it's not too hot on your model. Should be good. Let's go through here. Start to tack that down a little bit more. You might need to hold the prosthetic in place as you're doing it a little bit in some areas just to get it to stick a little bit better. After that, you'd typically move to start to do the seaming around the mouth, but because of the way that this character's mouth is, we're just going to leave it as is so that all these little strands can stretch as he opens and closes his mouth. So now what we're going to go through and do now that the prosthetic is actually glued down to the model's face, we're going to go through here with a mixture. So we've got a little paste mixture here, and it's just a mixture of that initial adhesive that we used and a powder called Cabicil. So you just mix that up until you've got about a icing consistency or a toothpaste consistency, and then you can go through and use that to hide all of your edges here and just blend it seamlessly into your model's face. So I'm just going to take some of that now and start to work around the outside edge of this prosthetic and start to just kind of lay that on there. And I'm just going to go back through with the side of the tool and start to seam it down into his skin. Typically when pre-painting a prosthetic like this, I'd like to leave about 1/4 inch of it unpainted on the edge just so I can go through and seam it. But with the time constraints that I had here, I needed to go through and just paint it all as one. As you lay that on there, you can go through with another brush and a little bit of water and kind of smooth that blending edge out. to where it's got a more seamless transition between the skin and the prosthetic. So I'm just going to go through here, kind of soften that up a little bit. So if you look closely whenever you're doing the seam around a makeup like this, there's a harsh difference between textures from the textures that are sculpted into the actual prosthetic and the actual smooth paste that we're actually using to hide the seams around it. So if you want to kind of carry those textures over, you can have either a stipple sponge or a C sponge, and you can go through and just kind of wet the surface on that. And just so you're keeping some texture flowing into your character, you can go through and just kind of blot the surface of it and just lay some new textures in there. That way it's got an even better blend into your model. So now we've got a nice texture. It kind of matches up with the prosthetic there as it blends into your model's skin. So we'll go through there and we'll continue to apply the rest of it. Switch over to the other side here. So after we get this seam down to tailor here, we'll go through, we'll dry all of those edges off, and then we'll start to go through and layer makeup and try to match his skin to the tone of the prosthetic here. Ready? Go through with my brush now. Blend those down. All right, so once you get that blended, you can go back through with the sponge, match your textures up. All right, while that's drying, we're going to go through and seam down the eye, and then we'll dry that all off and move on to painting. All right, go ahead and look up for me. Try and poke that back down.
So do you want me to hold it?
No, I think it'll be okay. We'll just shadow in there. I'm just going to seam underneath the eye and let the top wrinkle have a natural fold like that. Knock that down just like the others. Then texture it, and we'll dry it all off. Go ahead and look up for me. Excellent. So now we're going to go through and just dry it off. Once again, make sure you're not holding it onto your model too long so you don't heat them up too much. All right, so I'm gonna let the rest of that naturally dry, and I'm gonna start basing out the rest of his skin. I'm gonna start working from the back and work my way forward as the rest of that seam line dries there. You can see it's starting to disappear and become clear as it's drying, so it's no longer that harsh white edge all the way around it. So now that that's drying, I'm gonna go in with some cream-based makeups here and some makeup wedges and just start to base out his skin tones and start to kind of match those up with the rest of the prosthetic. So I'm going to take my makeup wedges here and I'm going to actually rip the end of it off here and start to pluck the end out just to kind of give it a little bit of a better breakup pattern, just so I'm not laying on harsh squares all over his face. So this will give you a nice natural breakup as you're starting to lay those colors on there. I'm going to go through and start off with some browns. I'm going to kind of use myself as a palette here. I'm just going to start to lay some of these colors faintly in here and just slowly build up a number of different colors so that we can start to match his skin to that prosthetic there. Make sure you address all parts of the model inside the ears and everything, just so you don't have anything standing out too harsh like the natural skin tones. Just want to hide it all and do your best to make the character as believable as possible. So I'm just kind of going through and blotting this just to keep a nice color breakup. I'm not laying it on there too heavy in any areas. That way I can go through with some other colors and give it some even more breakup. Ultimately, in the end, I'm going to take the airbrush there and start to just really blend everything together right there in the end. That's when everything's going to really come together. So as you can see, I'm keeping it splotchy just so I can add in those other colors in some of those vacant areas. All right, so I'm going to switch over to the other side here. Start blocking that out. All right, so we got a nice little break up there. I'm gonna go in with some bruise shaded purples now and start to punch up some areas that might get a little bit bruised, like in the temples of the head there, just around some of the other areas. Maybe add in some like faint veining, some irritation areas. Actually going to do this one with a brush that I've got here. Nice round-ended brush. Just kind of going in now, darkening that temple area there. And start to create a little bit of like a hex pattern going on from the forehead leading in, just to add a little bit more interesting details in there. And just kind of continue to carry that into the prosthetic. So we're not only just matching his skin to the prosthetic, we're actually carrying some of what we're